All right, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from the Brotherton Brewing Company, and they're out of Chemung, New Jersey, and this is their Liquid Smile. So they're calling this one a Northeast IPA that comes in at 6.2% alcohol by volume, 56 IBUs at the time of review. This can is approximately 2 months old, and I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to a good friend of mine and former beer tuber, Joe of the now defunct NEPA beer review. So NEPA stands for Northeastern Pennsylvania, and Joe was a beer tuber many years ago, and he kind of got out of the game because he became a professional brewer. He was formerly at the River Horse Brewing Company, and a couple years ago he gave me some beers to review, and they were quite delicious, and I thank him for that. And then this year he actually got a job with Brotherton, and he came to the 2021 Beer Tuber Palooza hosted by a good friend of ours and fellow beer tuber Matt over at Massive Beer Reviews, and he hooked everybody up with some fresh Brotherton beer, and I got this one and their Rasmanian Devil, which is a raspberry goza. By the time you see this review, hopefully another good friend of ours and a fellow beer tuber, Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews, will have posted the review that him and I are going to do on this beer, hopefully soon, as I'm reviewing this, but by the time you see it, you should see that. Anyway, hopefully. But yeah, so I want to apologize to Joe because he gave me this beer and it was like 2 days old. But after Beer Tuber Palooza, which was held in mid-August, I didn't drink any beer for like 5 weeks. And then when I started reviewing beer in like mid to late September, at that point I had so much beer, this got kind of pushed to the side. So I'm reviewing it now, 2 months old, but it's been in my fridge the entire time, kept cold, so we should be good. Now, on the label here, it says brewed with barley, spelt, and wheat, and hopped with a super special amount of Simcoe, Motueka, and Columbus hops. It says notes of citrus, tropical fruits, resin, drink fresh. Drink as fresh as I possibly can. I'm sorry, Joe. Hopefully this is quite delicious. I've drank so many beers like 2 months old, 2.5 months old, that still have been delicious, so I'm hoping that's the case for this one. Let's give it a crack open, get it into the glass, and we'll see if it's still drinking quite well. And let's give it a pour here. Ooh, it's looking kind of lighter than I anticipated. I know it's 6.2%, but I don't know. I guess nowadays I'm just expecting like, you know, I'm like spinning this can around like, what side should I put on can? It doesn't matter. So yeah, that has this nicely hazy, but not like crazy haze of this really like bright yellow-orange color. It looks kind of like sunshine in a glass in person. I don't know how it's going to come off the camera. It has about 1.5 fingers of this bright white fluffy-looking head. Some bigger bubbles mixed in with smaller compact bubbles. Yeah, that looks like a hazy of some sort. They say Northeast IPA. Sure, they're not going for a New England style that's super, I guess, crazy and hazy, but it's hazy enough. I mean, there's a little bit of clarity at the bottom and whatnot, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, it still smells super fucking fresh. So the citrus right off the top, I'm getting like a tangerine. The whole tangerine too, from the peel to the zest to the pith to the actual juiciness of the flesh. What the fuck is that? It's kind of like, it has, Motueka is weird for me. A lot of times I get lemon lime and things of that nature. Sometimes though I get like a Nelson influence from it where it's like white wine, white grape, and that's what I'm kind of getting here. I'm getting like a white grape gooseberry type of note, which is why I said, what the hell is that? I wasn't expecting that. No, again, Motueka, I'm thinking lemon lime with the Simcoe and Columbus, older hops. I'm thinking, you know, older school kind of vibes to this one with a little bit of new school influence. That's what I'm thinking going into it. But man, that white grape like gooseberry thing's kind of weird to me. There's a little bit of slight of that cattiness that people say you get from Simcoe. To me, it's just like a generic like dankness, but I get what people are saying from that aspect. I'm getting a base like malt character that has like this really nice bready, almost like crackery type of really light malt component that's just going to hopefully carry those hops. It kind of smells like a pale ale, like a really well done like New England style pale ale or like East Coast or Northeast pale ale to me. If I was doing a blind, it has like a lighter kind of like refreshing quality in the nose. It smells pretty good though. Let's get into it. Cheers to everybody, and thanks again, Joe. Oh. Was not expecting that. That finish is really delicious. Holy shit. I don't know if my palate's broken, but what I'm getting on the palate is way more distinctive and different than what I was getting in the taste. Let's go body mouthfeel real quick. Body on this one's like higher side of light, lower side of medium, 6.2%. You know you're drinking a lower ABV beer just from the body alone. Mouthfeel, it doesn't have the crazy creaminess, soft body, but it has a decent amount of carbonation. It's prickly on the palate. So it has more of an old school kind of mouthfeel, which I'm fine with. It. Not everything, even though I like everything being soft, smooth, and creamy when it comes to IPAs, I do appreciate beers like this where the mouthfeel isn't in that realm. It has a smoothness to it, but it's crisp. It's a crispy boy, but not really. But it has that crispness on the palate. So body and mouthfeel are fine for something like this. The taste, though, right up front, I'm hit with that crackery, slightly bready, almost like, it's more of like a crackery kind of malt sensation. And that's like omnipresent and underlying throughout the palate. Over top of it, right up front, though, there's that tangerine. There's a like a lemon kind of aspect. It's definitely citrus forward from the palate. It's almost a zesty kind of, a lot of times I'll get the zest and like the bitterness of like a peel or something from a citrus fruit in the finish. This time it's up front. Pass through the palate, mid palate, I'm hit with this, how to explain this? This earthy, almost floral kind of aspect. And as it finishes on the palate, it's kind of doing something crazy that I haven't really experienced too much, certainly lately. It dries out the palate. This has like almost a full-on dryness with a mild to moderate bitterness. But even with that, I am getting like a watermelon, lemon, lime, like candy kind of aspect, but not that sweet. It's just like a watermelon, lemon, lime flavor without like an intense sweetness type of thing. The finish of this beer is really cool. Super refreshing. Like that finish reminds me like this beer would be perfect in the spring and summertime where the warmer weather is. Like you're drinking this by a pool, each sip you're like, yeah, you know, it's 80, 85 out, sunny, you're sitting by the pool, you're enjoying the day, and each sip of this is just like, yeah, it's paradise, right? That's what this one is made for, at least in my opinion. I'm going to pour the rest in here just in case there's any kind of craziness going on at the bottom. I don't think so. I think this is kind of just what this beer is, and what this beer is pretty fucking tasty, honestly. I'm kind of surprised that, and 2 months old, it's held up extremely well. This is like a couple days over 2 months old, so yeah. I just really like, there's almost like, I said watermelon, lemon, lime, there's almost like a honeydew melon. Like there's some kind of just, we'll just go melon. You could say cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon, you wouldn't be wrong. But yeah, that's on the back of the palate. It's really cool. So this is, listen, this, I'm not going to sit here and because Joe gave it to me be like, oh, this is just a top tier amazing beer, because it's not a top tier amazing beer. But what this is a really tasty, enjoyable 6.2% Northeast IPA that has that old school influence, that Simcoe giving me that like dank, like earthy kind of quality middle of the palate. The Columbus, I think, is putting in that honeydew kind of watermelon-esque finish. With Columbus, I'd get honeydew quite a bit. And that Motueka giving me that lemon lime vibe and the citrus tones. I just think this is really well made IPA at 6.2%. So Brotherton Brewing Company's Liquid Smile, high 4 out of 5, I'm going to go 4.1. Really good beer. If you live by Brotherton or you can get your hands on their stuff, like this would be the quintessential fridge beer where I would buy a 4-pack of this, assuming that it's like under 16 bucks, and it would be in my fridge like all the time. Someone comes over and wants like an IPA or something. Here, have this. Oh man, it's really good and refreshing. Yeah, like you're not, if I'm watching a game and I had a couple of these, I wouldn't be hammered and I would be enjoying every second of drinking this because it is refreshing. 6.2%, you tell it's around 6%. The alcohol's not crazy. Like I said, it has a mild to moderate bitterness, but it has a really full-on dry finish to kind of balance everything out. And the fruit flavors are really nice on this one. And I love that you get a little bit of the malt aspect, which is why I said, if you told me this was a Northeast Pale Ale, I would be like, okay, I get it. So kind of skirting the lines of IPA Pale Ale for me, but like at this point, like a lot of things do. Anyway, not much more to say about this. 4.1 out of 5. Really good beer. Price and availability, this is where I have no idea. So Joe, if you watch this or anybody around Brotherton Brewing Company, or you can get their stuff, you can get Brotherton stuff, let me know price and availability. Like I said, I'd imagine a 4-pack of this is like 12 to 16 bucks, somewhere in that realm. And availability is probably New Jersey, and that's it. But yeah, I'm really happy about this one. Hopefully the raspberry goza that Colin and I are going to review is pretty tasty. But this is a nice drinking IPA where you can, you're not one and done. Like you'd probably take down a 4-pack of this in an evening, feeling pretty good. But I don't think it would crush your palate, and you'd be happy about it. So thanks again to Joe for this beer. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.